going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into another video. Finally gonna rebuild the 570. Been wanting to do this for a while. It's needed it since we bought it basically, so finally have some time to do it. We bought the bike as a 570. The motor had already been built by someone. It was either a long time ago or just not done very well. It has some cool parts on it, some cool cases. I'm not sure what's inside. We're gonna see when we get in there. Hopefully gonna get away with just doing a top end, but we're gonna see what it needs. It's definitely low on compression. It has a lot of blow by. Valves are most likely out of spec. It's throwing stuff out of the pipe when you rev it. Definitely a lot of iffy things in there. So we're gonna rip it apart and see, and then order all the parts we need. Thanks for coming along. First things first, I'm gonna rip off all the plastics, gas tanks, and I think I'm gonna take the wheels off too, because it'll just give me more room to spin it around. I've already drained the coolant, I've already drained most of the gas, but I still need to do the oil. So I'm gonna get started on that, and I'll throw you guys on a time lapse so you can watch it. It doesn't look like we're just gonna be doing a top end. I just drained the oil, and as you guys saw in that video, there's a ton of metal flakes in it. Oil is off colored, not even that much oil came out. So, looks like we're gonna be doing a whole motor. We'll just have to see what it looks like when we get in there, but bottom end looked rough. So we'll see what happens. Time to throw it back up on the stand, and then I'll get to taking off all the plastics in the tank so we can take a look. Alright, so I got most of everything off. So I gotta do the cooling system. I think I'm gonna leave the bars alone for now. I gotta get the exhaust off. We're getting there. The one thing about used bikes, take a look at this. There's the subframe was snapped on it. Most of the exhaust points were snapped. I'm trying to get the subframe off now, and you can see whoever wired this stuff up right here ran it through this box on the subframe, so I'm gonna have to cut these wires in order to get the subframe off. We're also gonna go ahead and do a carb rebuild while we're in here, so I'm gonna pull the carb out, order stuff for that. Yeah, that's where we're at. I'll throw it back up on time lapse and keep going. Alright, so if you're wondering why I'm tearing apart the whole bike down to the subframe and all that just to get to the engine, it's because I'm going to go through the whole bike. I've never had this bike fully apart. As you can already see, there's a bunch of wires and things like that that just aren't done correctly, so might as well, while I'm getting to the engine, it'll make it a lot easier, and I can just go through everything, do all the fluid flush, go through all the electrical, rebuild the carb. It's like, while you're in there, you might as well just do it. So we're getting there. Got the subframe off, about to take the header off. About to pull the carb off, then we'll get the radiators dropped, and then I'll probably drop the forks, and then we'll crack the motor open and see what's in there. Anytime you guys are pulling off the fork and you're gonna leave the brakes like this, it's not good to let them hang for a long time, so always try to zip tie it up or something like that. All right, so we're getting to the point where I'm gonna open up the motor. I still gotta pull off this oil line up here. I'm gonna disconnect the starter, probably pull it off as well. And then I'm gonna get top dead center, pull off the valve covers, and then we'll check the valve clearances. That way I kind of have a base and I know if I need to look at things. And then we'll go ahead and pull the head off. All right, so I got it to top dead center using a straw and turning the sprocket here. All 4 valves were definitely way too tight, so I got the flywheel locked. KTM has this cool, right here, you guys can't really see it, but this spacer. There's a bolt in there with this spacer, and what you do is remove this spacer, and then it becomes a flywheel lock and locks you at top dead center. But so got the valve covers off, we're at top dead center. Valve clearances are way too tight, but we're gonna go ahead and pull the head off now and see what the damages are. Alright guys, I think I'm just going to pull the motor out. It'll be a lot easier to do everything and I don't have to wrestle with that frame in the middle. I'm like 1 or 2 bolts away from having the motor out, so I might as well just take it out. It's really difficult to get that valve cover off with the frame in the way, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull it. Alright, what's going on everybody? I had to let the GoPro charge up a little bit, but where we're at right now, I actually have to pull the engine out. I didn't think I was going to be able to get the top end off, but KTM does not let you get the valve cover off here without hitting that. I tried it a ton of different ways. I don't think it's possible. If you guys think different, let me know in the comments, but I got the swing arm off, so next step is just gonna be get all the other motor mounts off, and then we'll pull the motor out, and then we'll be down to the frame. Let me know what you guys think. While I'm down to this point, I might as well powder coat the frame. So what do you guys think, orange or black? Like the, if you take a look over here, the 1190 looks sick with the orange frame. So I don't know, it could look cool with the orange, but also could look sick with the black. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I guess let's get to it. I'll throw you guys on a time lapse and I'll finish getting the motor out. Alright, finally got the motor out of the frame. It was definitely a lot more difficult than I was expecting. It's super tight with a 525cc engine in there. But we got it out. I had to take off more stuff than I was expecting. But next step is going to be to break the chain. The chain on the KTMs, you have to actually break and pull a link out. You can't just like take the cam out and then roll it off that way with the tensioner. So I have chain breaker. We're going to go ahead and break it. Top end doesn't look too bad from what I'm seeing right here, but after we take this off is when we're gonna see a lot more. Well, so let's go ahead and break the chain and then we'll pull this off and take a look. guys, I just finished getting the head off and took a look at the valves, took a look at the piston, took a look at everything. Seems good to me. I think it's ready to go back together and start riding. I don't know how this thing was even running today, honestly. That's scary. This thing was one rev bomb away from sending the piston through the side. So it needs a bottom end. That makes it a little bit more difficult. Now I gotta figure out, that's pretty awful. So I'm gonna have to split the cases and kind of see. I'll probably just end up getting a whole new crankshaft and rod altogether. The side of the piston has some pretty bad scoring too, you can see. It's got a 570 piston though, so that's a good thing. And then here's the head. It's pretty worn out too. Still has some cross hatching in there, but definitely some scoring on the side there. So I guess now I'm gonna start looking for parts. I'll try to order some parts. It could be a while. I just gotta go through. I wanna make sure I get all the correct parts before I start putting it back together. Yeah, I'll try to order parts as soon as I can, and then do some research on what I'm gonna do with the piston and head. I'd like to keep it a 570 if possible, but we'll have to see. I might just end up picking up some used 525 stuff or something like that. It's in good condition, so we will see. But thank you for coming along for the teardown. It's all torn down. We know where we're at now. Now it's just a rebuild. I'm gonna be dropping some videos in between the next time I see you guys with parts for the engine, of painting the frame, cleaning up some of the other parts I have, some stuff like that. So make sure to stick around for that. And this thing's gonna be one sick bike when it's done. Thanks for tuning in.